Radio Row. And it's very cool when you do an event like this. You get your cultures, you get your Diamond and Silks. You also get your really smart guys who are helping make, write, or enforce legislation. And to that end, Dale Wilcox joins us from the Immigration Reform Law Institute. He's the Executive Director and General Counsel of the year. Smart guy, Dale. Just FYI. You can put that on the card as well. Whenever we talk about illegal immigration in this country, the proponents of loosening our laws and making proponents for amnesty, they always say, well, illegal aliens have been in this country living law-abiding lives and they're paying taxes. And I was thinking, how are they paying taxes if they're here illegally? You can't pay taxes unless you got a Social Security number. Well, you guys figured out how they're doing that.
That's right. We actually, through using the Freedom of Information Act, we sent a request to the Social Security Administration and found out from 2012 to 2016 there were 39 million instances of identity fraud. So basically what's happened...
Wait, how many? Slow down. How many instances of identity fraud?
39 million.
That's a pretty damn big number.
That's a huge number. So what happens is when an employer sends in a wage report at the end of the year on their employees, the Social Security Administration matches up names with Social Security numbers, and there were 39 million instances where those did not match over a 4-year period.
And so now, at that point, then, the IRS turns back around and says, hey, or brings the ICE into the equation, or says something like, hey, there's something going on here, and they proactively say, hey, find out what's wrong, right?
No, I'm afraid not. What happened was, the reason we got into this investigation was, in 2012, when DACA, the DACA program, President Obama dropped that, a few days after he dropped that program, he suspended, we used to send out no-match letters to the employer and the employee saying, hey, there's something fishy here.
Right.
To alert them, because it's unlawful to employ an illegal alien under U.S. immigration law. Well, Obama stopped that because, obviously, DACA recipients wouldn't step forward. They would feel threatened with prosecution if they received a letter saying you're possibly committing a federal felony. So in order to make them feel better, he stopped that practice in 2012. So we sent in a FOIA request to find out, okay, how many instances of identity fraud have occurred between that time since we've stopped? 39 million.
Is this something if one president, enforced that or stopped enforcing that, the new president can start enforcing it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, he can.
But he isn't.
They need to start doing this again, sending out the no-match letters. And in fact, one step further, one thing they've never done, which they should do, is they should send a letter to the true owner of the Social Security number so that they can repair their credit.
So now what happens? So let's say they stole my Social Security number. First of all, am I going to get a W-2, or is the IRS going to think that I made wages over here under a false name or something like that?
You're absolutely right, and that's what's happened in a lot of instances. People have gotten audited because they've submitted tax returns without reporting this additional income
that they never knew about because someone else was using their Social Security number.
And to add insult to injury here, children are 51 times more apt or vulnerable to identity fraud.
Oh, well, that makes sense because there's no cross-check because children don't file tax returns.
Well, not just that. They won't apply for credit or anything until they get, into their teens.
Right.
So when they go to get a student loan or buy their first car, they find out they have a mortgage, they find out they have bad credit or a criminal history.
Dale Wilcox is our guest, Immigration Reform Law Institute. Listen, you guys did the FOIA request, you did the whole report, everything, but does it end there, or what can people do or should do to find out if they're a victim of this themselves?
Well, obviously you should check your credit report once a year and check your children's credit report also.
So when we hear that an illegal alien in this country is a law-abiding person, they broke the law coming into the country,
yes.
They broke the law staying in the country, they broke the law at some point with identity theft if they are working,
right.
And they continue to break the law by working on somebody's false. Every single time they get a paycheck, they're breaking the law with that false information.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are many laws that you never hear about. It's illegal not to register once you come into the country as an alien. So every day they're here and they haven't registered with DHS, that's an actual criminal, that's a crime.
Thank you for giving us more reason to be angry and infuriated over where we stand right now, even with President Trump in the White House. Dale Wilcox, the organization is Immigration Reform Law Institute. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
454.